Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome back, beautiful people. I am Tando Manaka, Media Mom, and I'm back for another video. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Good to see you again. And if you're new here, welcome to the crew and hope you get comfortable because it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. We learn and we grow together. So this week, guys, I want to switch things up a little bit. I do have my usual weekly drops where I do an education session on media metrics and all the sorts around media. But then right now, I want to get into something a little bit more topical, something of interest to me. So I am an avid lover of media. And I think I said this in my intro video, grew up watching a lot of TV, consuming a lot of media. So naturally, getting into this industry just felt organic. But again, I'm also a huge fan of hip hop. I grew up with my uncles playing either Wu Tang Clan or Tupac all day long. So that kind of was my foundation of music, obviously with a sprinkle and dash of R&B and all the sorts in between. But hip hop has always been like kind of a staple in my life. So with everything that's happened, especially with the Super Bowl this weekend, I feel it is only natural to actually get into this, guys. We need to talk about this. And I really want to just cover the topic of hip hop and media. So let's get into it. Guys, I just did my hair, so like I'm so happy. Anyway, you're probably sitting at home wondering to yourself, why should I even care about this Super Bowl? And isn't this just an American sport? Why do we even care? Why does the rest of the world care? Well, if you're in media and advertising, you should care. If you are dealing with any brand, you should care because there are a lot of lessons around media and advertising that you could learn from just observing the Super Bowl. So first and foremost, I want to get to kind of the history of the halftime show. The halftime show previously was not even a big deal. No one really cared about what happened in the halftime break, right? But in one, I forgot which year it was, but Marlon Wayans talks about this in Club Shay Shay interview he has, that In Living Color was able to draw such a large bulk of the NFL's Super Bowl audience on a Sunday for In Living Color. They were able to draw all those individuals to go watch In Living Color during that halftime period. And that's when the NFL had the clever idea of, hey guys, let's add some entertainment to those halftime spots so that we can ensure that our audience stays attentive to our programming, right? Because again, in the world of advertising, it's all about audience size. It's all about eyeballs. It's all about how many people can you keep engaged and keep watching you. It is the reason why Kai Cenat is so popular. It's like he live streams everything, I think, and people are just watching and they're invested and they're paying attention. And because of that, brands want to hop on. So In Living Color did this, and that's when the NFL was like, okay, let's bring in the big guns. And they called on Michael Jackson to do that show the following year. So he did the halftime show, and that showed to be a very successful strategy because, hey, since then, there's been a performance at every halftime since, right? Now, kind of speeding forward to where we are today, I'm not even going to get into the politics of everything because there's so much to it, but I just want to stay a bit surface level for this conversation. Jay Z was then put in the position to decide who gets that spot. And right, that is a coveted spot because it creates an opportunity for not just brands to advertise because everyone is watching, but then the captivated audience like enjoying this performance during the halftime show, you also, as an artist, have an opportunity to promote anything else that you are doing. This is a captivated audience. They are engaged. So you have the opportunity to really make a statement, really put a message out there into the market that you'd like to. So just going into the commercial value of things, right? If you look at America as a country, it is a very fragmented country because there are 50 states all governed by their own laws. And with that comes complexities when coming into the idea of, media planning and all of that, right? And for me, it's exciting because I do personally think that America could be a case study when it comes to media and how to use media. But anyway, that's a separate conversation for another day. With this highly fragmented audience in America, this is a one time similar to South Africa where everyone is united. And I say similar to South Africa because there's nothing that unites South Africans more than the Springboks going to represent us. You know what I mean? And for Americans, NFL is pretty much that. It is that exciting for them. And they get really invested in these teams and they, rep they city, they team and want to see them, make it to the end and win that championship at the very end. So because of this, this is a large, attentive audience. And again, like I said, this audience tends to be more fragmented than not, right? So this is one opportunity for advertisers and businesses to reach a large mass audience and kind of get a huge kind of awareness campaign kicked off. Because this is normally where you'll see, like, for example, 2024, Timu launched their campaign using the halftime show or using the Super Bowl, let me say, right? Because in that space, people are attentive, they're paying attention. And there've been actually a lot of case studies done around ads that were done, particularly during the Super Bowl, because of that attentive audience. You're able to actually see the spike on your web traffic immediately after you see your ad being played during that spot. So, because of that, again, it's shown and proven to have such great commercial success. Now, this year's NFL or Super Bowl has been coined or claimed to have been the most viewed in history. I need you to let that sink in. I don't know how long the Super Bowl has existed, but the most viewed in America, it's already like a coveted spot to get if you're an advertiser. If you have the budget to play in that space, that's the space you want to be in. And for them to say that this year's was the most viewed, I don't know if we can give all the credit to Kendrick, but I'd like to. I would like to, you know what I mean? So, with that, for example, 2024 again, there was Timu launching their campaign, but we also had Kanye West. I think he said he spent about 4 million on his spot in 2024. And in the ad itself, which was recorded on his iPhone, he said, well, we killed the budget. We finished the entire budget buying the spot, so we didn't have any production budget left. And he recorded it on his phone and just drove traffic to Yeezy.com. And that is how he got his billionaire status back. It's just through that one spot. And of course, loyal fans and, continue communication. And, we can never get Kanye to stop communicating, even though allegedly he disabled his Twitter, which is wild. I mean, X, which is wild. I'm engaged. I'm tuned in to just figure out why. And most people don't want to know the why of Kanye, but I really do want to know the why. I am fascinated by that man. But anyway, that speaks to that success, right? Or the commercial viability of advertising during that spot. And I think I spoke about it in my traditional and digital metrics video, where I speak to the fact that you want to be tapping into this large engaged audience, and the cost of advertising to this huge audience tends to spike as you get to these prime spots, right? So again, CBS News just reported that it cost allegedly 8 million USD to advertise a 30-second spot. And remember, in that same video, I did say 30 seconds how we measure is the average kind of time we measure advertising space on, right? If it's a radio clip or whatever, we always kind of average the pricing on 30 seconds. You can prorata it if it's less or if it's more, there are ways to work around that, but then you get the average cost for advertising, and that is 8 million USD. How many spots are available? I'm not too sure, but we will go into another video later on, probably next week, just looking at some of the most interesting ads that were brought up during this halftime show or the Super Bowl programming. So I hope you tune in for that. But yeah, that was really interesting for me, is just looking at this year's show and how much attention it got, because I think I saw a post earlier that spoke about Usher's performance and Kendrick's performance because Usher's was last year. Was Usher's last year or was it Rihanna? Can't even remember. But like they were comparing the numbers, and allegedly it took a year for Usher to get the same number of views that it took Kendrick 24 hours to get, which was 32 million at the time. Right now, Kendrick's sitting on 40 million views 2 days later. So just try to like conceptualize that. Like that is crazy. That is crazy. Was he the reason why it was the most viewed in all history? I'm not sure. You had to watch the whole game for them to say that, right? I'm hoping that they're not just looking at the ratings from when the halftime show was happening and just looking at the entirety of the programming. But hey, I don't know who do those calcs. I'm just saying, like, just from my perspective, how I see it. And that was very interesting. So this is historically very prime area. A lot of case studies have actually come out from ads that went out during the Super Bowl. So it is a very prime time spot to get, especially in the US market that tends to be very fragmented. When I say fragmented, I'm talking time zones. The TV schedules are not the same. And remember, I mentioned DTT as well in my previous video, which is basically us transitioning from our aerial satellites to a digital satellite, right? So you could watch your free to air TV, which is your SABC 1, 2, and 3, right? So with that, there are a lot of lessons, right, in terms of looking at the American landscape and what we can learn about how to do advertising in the future when we get to a point where the DTT is properly rolled out in our market, because then, there are programmatic TV buying opportunities and all of those beautiful stuff. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that because I've been told that I need to do another update on the traditional digital metrics video because they are honestly a million metrics that we can look at, but I've been asked for more, so there will be another one on that. But yeah, I just really wanted to get into that and maybe get your opinions. What do you think about what happened with this year's Super Bowl? Do you think that Kendrick was the main reason why the viewership was so high? Do you think the commercial viability of hip hop is still there following this? Because I think the biggest issue around hip hop culture and media and the commercialization of it was that it started to deviate away from what it really represented for a lot of individuals that are fans of hip hop. I being one of those, I personally kind of tapped out of listening to hip hop a lot because I felt it was with the commercialization, it didn't resonate with me as much. And I was a fan of the conscious rap era, like your Common, your Talib, anyway, I'm not gonna get into it, but those were my kind of favorite people to listen to. So kind of the shift that we took into the Drake of it all was not appealing to me. But I won't even say that Drake alone was the issue. I have a list of rappers that I'm like, I don't know, but again, I am not a curator of hip hop. I'm just a fan sitting on the sidelines and interested to hear what your opinions are. So I know already that the bulk of my audience is South African, so I would be doing y'all a disservice if I did not talk about this, because we gotta talk about this. And I know you saw the ad. There's no way you didn't see the ad. You had to have seen it. So pick and pay. I remember when I first saw that Rick Ross was in South Africa, I was like, why is Rick Ross here? When was the last time Rick Ross dropped anything? Does Rick Ross, I was like, is he performing? But I was like, no one said he was like having a show. So I'm like, why is Rick Ross here? He's in Cape Town living it up. And I was like, well, what is happening? And then I saw it. And I was like, oh, that's why Rick Ross is here. Oh, guys, no shade to Rick Ross. Listen, I'm not a rapper. I wish I could rap, but I'm not a rapper. So I cannot shade another rapper because I'm not ready to get into a rap battle. But what I will say is the reactions are mixed. I'm gonna say they're mixed because when you go onto the actual videos online and you go into the comments, I'm getting a lot more positives from people. But I remember watching that at the first time and thinking, but why? No, but like I get that it's a competition, but why? Why would we bring Rick Ross to SA to use the song All I Do Is Win? I don't even know the name of the song, but use that song for a campaign to promote a competition. I get that the song is all about winning, but when did that song come out? And we as advertisers kind of have a responsibility to be on the pulse of culture, and it just felt like a misstep, like not even a missed opportunity, a misstep. Like I get the logic, like on a textbook, I get why that would make sense, but then if you're in tune with the culture, it's like very, yeah, low vibrational. Like it's not the one. So it actually made me think about this book. If anyone has read this book, got a copy of this book, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? This, which actually is a personal signed copy that I got. Yes. Signed by my daughter on the first page, of course. And well, the author then signed on the inside. I'm not going to read the full message because yeah, no, he's calling me out and there's no need for that on my channel. There's no need. But if you've read this book, then you'll know about Slicker's journey in advertising and media and how he has been able to kind of become this cultural curator for brands, allowing brands to be really on the pulse of things and really being relevant to the youth culture at the time. I don't know if anyone called this man to consult before they dropped this ad because they could have called, like, if you had the budget to get Rick Ross in SA, cover his accommodation and all those things while he's here, you had the budget to consult a few people in the industry that could have maybe got you to pivot the other way. Now, I don't know who works on this brand. I don't know who is on this team. And if I do know you and you are on this team, I'm so sorry. But this ad was not the one. It was not it. And the reason it was not it is because the song is so dated at this point that there was an opportunity to really even go and look at local artists if you had to, or African artists. And this is also coming off the back end of alleged financial trouble with Pick and Pay. So, did you really need to spend that much money on this ad? Is the question. Now, if you haven't seen that ad, please go check it out and let me know in the comments what were your thoughts. I'm personally like, nah, they shouldn't have. They really, and that's the majority of what people are saying on LinkedIn. But when you see the actual posts from the brand, they're getting some positive feedback. So I want to know, no one in the brand is in the room. It's just you and I talking. What did you think of this ad? Did it connect with you? Did it make you want to go get your smart shopper and go start shopping to stand a chance to win? I even forgot. I think it was 100. Was it 10K, 100K a day? I forgot. I forgot what the price is because I kept on looking at the ad saying why. And then there was a rap, and it wasn't even him. So they didn't pay for him to actually rap because all they did was play the track. And then the other homie then came in and did some bars, and I was like, alright. It's giving very much. We were told this is what people like, and thus we're going to do it. I'm just saying, representation is important for a reason. If your team is not diverse, you tend to fall into these traps where you don't quite land the message that you're trying to land. So, anyway, with that being said, guys, I hope you have a lovely day further. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Like, this is a conversation, guys. Let's keep the conversation going, and we'll touch base next time. Bye.
Are you listening? Damn.